You're listening to Trek FM.
Welcome, listeners, to another installment of From There to Here, Trek FM's daily rewatch podcast for all of Star Trek in honor of the 50th anniversary, starting with Broken Bow and Enterprise and ending with Star Trek Beyond. My name is Caitlin, and with me I have...
Richard Marquez.
Hi, Richard. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you today?
I'm good. Things are looking on the up and up, so happy to be here. Today, listeners, we have another Deep Space Nine episode for you, Once More Into the Breach, and then we also have a Voyager episode, Once Upon a Time, and I'll let Richard take it away with the Deep Space Nine summary.
All right, Once More Unto the Breach. With the Dominion War raging on, the old Klingon warrior Kor feels left out of the action and looks for some way to get his share of the honor of battle. Now, this episode, I enjoy this episode because while I was watching it, it brought back a saying that we say in the military that beware of an old man in a profession where young men die. And I mean, granted, in this episode he's suffering from either dementia or he's suffering from some kind of cognitive issue. Yes. And because obviously he's forgetful and he forgets where he's at, and it resonates so much more to me in this one because I mean obviously you can only do 20 years in the military for infantry, or unless you're higher up in the ranks, but like being in the thick of battle, like it's just absolutely came out to me and just reminded me of everyone that I know that was older within the infantry. So I love this episode. It's just sad that how it ends, and it also teaches us that we should also respect our elders because taking something they did in the past when they were younger, you definitely don't want to make fun of or disrespect anyone that's your elder, because it could bite you in the ass later on down the road. So yeah, what do you think?
I was happy to watch this episode. It was great to see some Dominion War fighting up close, and the Klingons were really interesting. The dementia plot resonated with me strongly. I felt really bad for Kor, and also for once Worf and Martok realize what's going on, they're put in this difficult position. There's that scene where they realize, okay, we're just going to have to talk to Chancellor Goron after we get back to Deep Space Nine and find a post for Kor, knowing that's like the last thing he wanted to do because he went through this whole effort to get back, in the thick of battle. It's a sad ending, but I'm happy with the resolution because I think it's the best thing for a Klingon like Kor to have a death in battle. Obviously,
but we didn't see him die in battle.
True. Sometimes I have to look up things on Wikia or Wikipedia, and I made the mistake of looking up his profile, and it says he's deceased. I haven't figured out the details of his death yet, but
yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, well, 10 fighters definitely against one bird of prey is really not good odds. I'm sure he did die, but then again, I was thinking through the whole entire thing. It's like, yeah, he didn't die, but then again, that could be a great story within the halls of the Klingon Empire. Yes. Definitely something they could sing to. It was like, well, technically he didn't die.
They made an effort to show that the Klingons were speeding away, and instead of having a line confirming the destruction of the bird of prey that stayed behind, they just lost sensor contact. So that's a good point. Like, that's definitely going to embellish the stories on the Klingon homeworld about this battle.
Yeah, it's like Biggie and Tupac or something like that.
Yeah, our own modern myths.
There you go. he didn't really die. He's still alive. He's still among us somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. He's just biding his time before revealing himself.
There you go. Okay. What about our next episode, Once Upon a Time?
So, Once Upon a Time is a Voyager episode, and it is the one that features Naomi Wildman heavily. Her mom Samantha is on an away mission with Paris and Tuvok in the Delta Flyer when they hit some bad ion storms and have to make an emergency landing. Things look very dire, and Neelix is Naomi's goddaughter, and he's insistent on keeping Naomi away from the news about her mother in a misguided attempt to protect her. So, Richard, what did you think about this episode?
I wish I had a holodeck so I can relive my childhood books. That would be awesome. I mean, because like when I watched this episode, it's like, oh man, how awesome of a childhood would that have been? And I think in this episode also, Janeway ends up in the first 15 minutes or first 10 minutes of the episode and saying that she grew up with this Flotter and the Tree Monster, or The Adventures of Flotter, and this one's obviously entitled Flotter and the Tree Monster, when she was a child, that it was scary for her back in the day. And I just couldn't even imagine what it would be like. I mean, obviously, we read books, we imagine, and you know, it's basically the same thing. But to actually see it in flesh, in a sense, flesh and blood, you know, that would definitely be pretty awesome. But like you said, he definitely misguided protection of since he's her godfather.
I think initially he did come from a place of concern, and I think initially, you know, not telling Naomi everything was probably a good idea, you know, because Janeway goes along with it, and it's not until, you know, they realize how dire the situation is that she realizes, okay, it's time to bring, you know, at least let her know what's going on, you know. But Neelix is in denial, and he admits it's because of his own upbringing, losing his family so suddenly in the war that he went through. I think Once Upon a Time is one of those episodes of Voyager that Star Trek fans in general might kind of, oh, it's a fluffy Voyager episode, there's not much substantial to it. But if you look beneath the surface, there's that whole idea of, okay, Voyager's not like the Enterprise D, you know, this is no place for a child, but here we are on this 75-year journey, and we have to raise Naomi on, you know, this ship, and what's the, you know, proper way to do it. And I think luckily Naomi's one of those kids that can get aged up quickly from when she was born. Like, she was born in season 2 and now it's already season 5, but she looks older than, you know, 3 years.
Oh yeah.
And she's a smart kid too, so she picks up on things a lot quicker. So I think Naomi's in good hands, having the whole Voyager crew as her family and being able, you know, raised by her. But I'm happy that Samantha Wildman and the other crew members did not die in the Delta Flyer, else this episode would be a lot darker than it is.
Right, exactly. And this is season 5, so yeah, she would be 3 years old, and I can't even imagine my daughter. She looks like 7, maybe 8 years old, maybe even older than that.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, she's also half Katarian too, so I mean, maybe they age faster.
They must. It's the same thing like Alexander did with on TNG. The alien kids just age rapidly just to get them to be for kid actors to handle. Yeah. The second you said that, I remember him walking down the hallway in those episodes. Are great. Well, that does it for this episode. So, Caitlin, where can everyone find you on the internet? Well, I am trying to make an effort to stay in the Babel Conference, up to date with that. So I'm on Facebook, and I'm also on Twitter, where I primarily live on the internet. You can find me at Walsh Caitlin. That's my last name, first name. All
right. Well, if anyone wants to find me, I am also on the Babel Conference. I try to pop in here and there. And if anyone wants to see me on, or want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at xransom, and that's about it. Exactly how it's spelled. So that does it for us on this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow with the Siege of AR-558 and the Voyager episode Timeless.